Good evening, free enterprise community. Welcome on the night of the 30th birthday of Final Fantasy IV. We welcome you to a Monday night community race featuring our Lunar Tour 2021 flags. And I'm very honored and excited to be working on a team with Alisale, our restreamer, Escorian, our tracker. And in the booth with me is Asuka424, who had, I think she can tell us about, but you had a hand in these flags a couple weeks back for a different event. Good evening, Asuka. How are you?
Oh, heck. Hi, everybody, and hi, Quarks. So the Lunar Tour 2021 was a flag set in week 3 of the Pink Puff League, which is our newest, or one of our newest clubs for, particularly for new and inexperienced runners. And I kind of had a hand in this because I made the template for these flags. But mind you, our sages and fantastic people, Zoe Vermillion and Possum Morpheus, who's one of our runners today, did give me some help. So I didn't do it alone, thank you.
Yeah, these to me are pretty exciting flags because it essentially means once you have darkness, you're in go mode, and it's time to start making some decisions. As you mentioned, and you are the founder of one of the best new clubs around, the Pink Puff League, bringing a lot of new players into our community. Up on our restream tonight, though, we have 4 runners who are decidedly not new runners. We have 4 experienced runners, and I'm super excited to see what happens if we get a super early darkness crystal with these 4.
I'm not gonna lie, I was low-key hoping for a starting darkness crystal. However, starting twin harp's always nice in my opinion because I always love some good music. But this particular flag set, there's a couple interesting things about it. Meaning, Edge will always be the starting character. However, all of our characters are necky. So although Edge is really good early, he loses some of his early game power because he has no armor and his normal good equipment. But yeah, the thing is with this seed is it was meant to teach our puffs to learn more about those lunar spots that are really scary and really high level and terrifying and more scary. So yeah, we said here, you have to go to the moon, period. There's 6 spots. You have to do 5 of them, so you get 1 mulligan, but that's it. Have fun.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the Neki flag where the characters don't get their normal starting equipment, but they did get 3 grab bags. They went by pretty quick, but I think I definitely saw a couple of decent items there for these 2 martial artists who are our starting party of Yang and Edge. And we're about to see Rex visit Hobbs to see if we can add a 3rd character to the mix. We'll see who Rex finds up there.
Yeah, I missed one of the items that was in the grab bag, but I did notice that Possum Morpheus did back row glitch his Edge, so there might be a back row capability. There might be back row capabilities. Words are hard, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Possum is showing us our first boss, and that is Ashura. And I'm sure he's really happy to see that Ashura was having a conversation with everybody's favorite best character in the game, Edward. That's just my personal opinion.
We'll see what Possum does with Edward. And with this flag set, I guess you could remind me, is Spoon on this flag set?
The Spoon flag is absolutely on for this particular flag set, which can make Edward an early game Edward a pretty useful character. Because, well, Spoon go burr.
It sure does. So it would be kind of fun.
But our runners are showing us 2 particularly not so fun bosses to see in different places. Wyvern was on Mount Hobbs, and Valvalis is in Baron Inn Spot 2, which is a little scary. Solaris has showed us that we have wasted a free character with the Water Hag in Mist Cave, and I missed who was taking a shower in the waterfall on Tybalt's screen.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either. I'm sure another runner will give us another look at that. And there goes Solaris accommodating us. Thank you. Looks like the dolls.
Yeah. Well, it looks like neither Tybalt nor Solaris will be playing with their dolls again.
Definitely not up on the moon. And as you mentioned, both Water Hag and the dolls are some of the easier bosses, and they've been taken away. We will not find dolls in Bahamut. We will not find Water Hag down at Masamune. So 2 easier potential encounters are gone.
On the flip side, though, we've noticed that 2 of the more rude bosses with Valvalis and Wyvern are off the table for the moon. So it's both good and a bad thing. We also see, Rex has picked up his Sid, and Pasu has probably begrudgingly picked up his Edward.
He didn't have much of a choice.
I know.
It would have been funny if he had gone to fill out his party to at least give himself a choice before taking that. But when you have a starting edge, a lot of runners will make that play to immediately tackle Baron in, which sometimes you want to go there with slightly stronger characters, but edge can definitely handle it.
And I just noticed how Pasu was able to back row glitch his edge. There is a boomerang in his inventory, so it's probably one of the grab bag kits there. Let's see, we did see the Magus sisters over in Antlion Cave, so please, Antlion, be in your natural habitat on the moon. And Rex has shown us the rat tail, so we can't really do anything with that tail yet. We still need a hook to turn in that rat tail, but one thing you'll notice about this flag set is the key items are going to be coming fast. It is only K-Moon, not K-Moon, K-Main, meaning that every single overworld and underground check except one will have a key item. They don't know who the Zonk is yet, but so far I think we haven't found it.
Nope, every spot's given us something, and the rat tail, like you said, we can't use yet, but it would be exciting if the hook and the rat tail paired up to give us that darkness relatively soon. I've been playing a lot of ladder, and I really enjoyed the giant percent flag set. So this is almost like a souped up giant percent where you get darkness, you're in go mode, and in this case, you just have to take 5 potentially difficult fights, and then you get your crystal, and you're on your way.
Yeah, agreed. And the nice thing as you're doing those lunar spots is since there's not going to be a key item there, they are going to probably get some pretty good items there to help them continue on with their lunar fights. Me personally, mostly because I know a lot of people love Fading Twin Harp. It's Restream, y'all. Darkness Crystal better be behind that Twin Harp. I like me some music.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Checks.
Yeah, that would definitely be, and I wonder if certain runners might put themselves at a disadvantage for not going there immediately.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love Pasu's naming scheme with the tier of characters. I'm just gonna assume the lower the number, the better the character, even though I know I'm gonna be completely in the wrong here. But again, that's slightly biased.
Well, I mean, the tier 1 character is currently resting, so that indicates a position of power, I think.
Yeah, he's making everybody else do the work for him, or
exactly.
Something.
Eddie's in charge.
all he needs is a Porum, and then Pasu has the dream team for his opinion. But what's actually interesting, was brought up in chat as well, is no free key item. The no free key item flag is active. So for all we know, our Derek Mist can be hiding somewhere kind of hilarious and provide the darkness crystal. Now, what's interesting is D-Mist could be at the Fame Arch bosses, so Odin or Ashura, or excuse me, Leviathan or Ashura. He could be in the Odin spot in Baron Castle, and although they're technically not main checks, he still has a particular key item. So if our runners aren't finding that darkness crystal, they might starting to sweat just because, well, they might be on a Demon's hunt.
That is true, and I glanced at the flags. It looks like the warp glitch is on, which allows runners to check. They get their dwarf castle item, and then they can warp into the sealed cave and grab that item as well. And that is also a pretty sneaky spot for Demas to be, because then you might not be so incentivized to walk down the cave, check the boss, and yeah. So in addition to the ones you named, there's lots of spots that could make this a pretty fun seed. Agreed,
and as our tracker Esco mentioned in chat, Demas could also be in the King Queen spot, so on the hook route as well. There's a lot of different fun route potentialities here. For the and the reason actually I should say we put the warp glitch on for this particular flag set is since it was a very early flag set for the PPL, I didn't want to force a really rude Luca or sealed cave check. It's a very, very, very high agility spot, and you know what? Let's take it easy at first. But it does require a character that has the warp spell, which I don't think we have seen yet.
Yeah, doesn't look like we have any majors aside from Edge and his ninja magic.
Though on the bright side, Tybalt has found his namesake Charm Claw, so all's right in the world on Tybalt's side. But what's fantastic, while Rex in the upper right is showing us the another free boss that's completely off the table with the Kaipo guards, Tybalt has made the music play, so he's saving his game, and he is probably going to be checking music in the very near future.
Yep, this is a check that some runners fade just because of the lengthy cutscenes and the fact that you have this little scene here where you have to just wait it out or have a way to knock out your own characters. And if this ends up being darkness, then Tybalt suddenly takes big command, at least out of our 4 restream runners. We do have a whole bunch of other runners. I think we have over a dozen runners tonight racing this seed.
Yeah, we do. And actually, some of our runners are, in fact, members of the Pink Puff League. So shout out to them for stepping up for the community race, showing these runners how Pink Puffs do it. Heck, I'm kind of biased and rooting for them, but that's just me. But anywho, looks like Tybalt is officially showing Best Boy getting out of bed, and we'll be quiet in the very near future and hear some good heckin' music from our DJ Spoonie B. Well, now that our rude King Queen of Elbelin have unfortunately ended the battle theme from Final Fantasy XI, we have noticed that there is another free character, another free boss fight off the table.
Yeah, King Queen Evelyn, the freest of all free. They will not be on the moon, but you know who's going to be on the moon soon? That's Solaris, because he just picked up his Darkness Crystal at Fabul, closely followed behind by Possum Morpheus. So Tybalt might have his underground access with that magma, but we'll see if he checks Fabul before that to grab his darkness.
And just rounding out the cast of interesting key items being found. Well, this is kind of a key item adjacent. Rex has finished Mount Ordeals and has been given the pass, so he does have the literal fast pass to Z once he completes his boss checks. But the funny thing about this flag set is because you have to go to the moon anyway, and you have to words are hard. You have to take out the lunar bosses. It's like sometimes the pass might not be entirely worth it.
Yeah, we see for anyone who is new to this flag set or new to these restreams in general, if you notice, there are 5 objectives listed on the middle of the screen, but for space reasons, there's actually 6, and the final 2 kind of share that 5 slot. Our runners have to do 5 of the total 6 lunar spots. So, and like you said, after that, then they have to go down to Z, and both the Ribbon Altar and Masamune and White Spear are all very Z adjacent. So yeah, the pass may not be the biggest benefit if you route your run to end at the deepest spot of the moon. And so yeah, we'll see how each of our restream runners handles that decision.
And what's arguably unfortunate for Tybalt is finding that magma key. We know that the Darkness Crystal is in the overworld. Rex will be getting his in a very short amount of time, but magma is bait. A lot of people, if they get an early magma key, they'll go underground and try to single dip for bull, meaning they're going to look for the pan. And I have a suspicion that that's exactly what Tybalt's going to be doing. If he can find the pan, then he can just activate Sheila 1 and Sheila 2 at the same time, and then come back and do for bull. At that point, I wouldn't be surprised if Tybalt sees the Darkness Crystal and goes, oh heck, because he'll probably realize that there might have been a few people that went to this before they found Twin Heart Magma Key.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he'll step out of Football Castle, look up, and just imagine all of his opponents who might possibly be up there already. Tella's up there already, which is pretty great because Tella does unlock some grind options, and we'll see how Possum and Solaris deal with this. Will they kind of hunt for freebies on the moon to get some easy experience, or will they pursue a more formal grind and then just kind of stomp all over the moon?
Yeah, that is going to be a good question. That's going to be in the experience levels of the various runners in this flag set or in this race currently could affect what people do. I mean, the thing with Tellus, he's fantastic for a D machine grind, and spoilers, this week's Pink Puff League flag set kind of focuses on teaching that D machine grind because there's a lot of moving parts in it, and it can be a little intimidating if you've never done it before. But Tell is the best facilitator for that grind. Or, if we find the few remaining free bosses, in that case, sure, that might be a grind in and of itself right there. But to answer a question from, let's see here, Berserk Now in chat, the 5 of 6 required is due to alt gauntlet the Yogo Pogo spot. One would hope. The reason we did 5 of 6 is, again, this was a week 3 flag set, and there can be some very terrifying bosses on the moon. We don't want to force them to have to do all of them because we might find Kanatsu in there, alt gauntlet at Ogo, Golbez, you name it. There could be some just heckin' root. Val could be up there, so even though we know where Val is now, so we didn't want to moonlock them per se. I guess that's one way of putting it.
I like it. Even though you kind of are phrasing it as being kind, I also just think it does open up interesting strategic decisions, especially when you get down to the lower moon where the 3 spots are fairly close together. You can peek them really quickly and make a call. So I'm really curious, even given the experience of the 4 runners that we have in front of us on Restream. Will they just go headlong and just take the first fight they see, or will they start kind of trying to decide, what's going to be the quickest way through?
And what's going to be interesting and probably very cringy for people that don't like Edward opens up some cheeky boss fights. He can, depending on what spot evil, like we saw Evil Wall already at Full Defense, but there are some spots where if Edward just hides and the rest of the party dies, Evil Wall will literally punch itself to death. If there's DKC, Edward can hide. And then as soon as the rest of the party is dead, the fight just straight up ends right there. Odin. Eddie can do a Thunderstruck strat. Kane can jump over, if they have a Kane. Kane can jump over the Zantatsukins. So having that Edward, although people might complain about it, can be surprisingly useful to get some really, really, really cheeky encounters over and done with, and some essentially free XP that wasn't necessarily going to be free to begin with.
For those reasons, I wouldn't be surprised if all the runners just stick with the Eddie, even if, obviously if they find a great holy weapon and a Cecil, maybe Jan goes bye-bye and Eddie gets to stay, because they do really kick in themselves if they came across that terrible DKC and they would just know in the back of their head, all we'd have to do is have that Eddie and we'd be through already.
And what's interesting on Tybalt's screen is the Feymarch just had the loaded shop. He has found his Siren, so there is a very quick grind option on the table. I believe it also had Star Veils and the exit spell. None of his characters could do a single magic spell to save their lives, let alone the specific exit spell. So that is a fantastic shop for him right then and there.
Yeah, I suppose Edge can't flame out of this Feymarch.
No, because Yang and Sid would probably do like the John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, look around, hands up in the air and go, what do we do?
That didn't do what you thought it was going to do. Looks like we're going to get our first peek at a Lunar boss. I'm excited. Rex is being aggressive, heading right toward the Morasame altar, the one that's kind of out of the way. So he's going to get some pretty valuable knowledge. And if it's one of the, unfortunately, not that many free bosses left, maybe he'll even take it on.
Yeah, I believe this spot can be fairly punchy, so we don't necessarily want to see a physical boss here. Even though we kind of do. So...
I think we're about to see a reset, and we're about to see Eddie put to use.
Okay, so let's talk about Eddie's strats against DKC right now. Rex is going to have to do some adjustments of his party. Eddie is going to have to be in spot number, well, in this case, spot 3. The key thing is Eddie has to hide, and he has to do so before DKC uses his first whoosh spell. He has to do it. He's going to do it 3 times, and if you don't attack him, cool, you'll win the fight. But our characters are not strong enough to survive 3 of those.
Eddie can't even survive 1 whoosh.
No. No, DKC will lift his sword, and Eddie's already like, okay, I'm sorry. But it does look like Rex has reorganized his party, put Tella in the center. Tella is an unsung hero. He's a lot more effective at things that he can somewhat do than people like to give him credit for, including being an anchor. So we'll see if Tella in the center is enough to Tella-life this seed and get Eddie to hide. I'm not sure if Rex lowered his battle speed. That would help a little bit here as well, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to lose any menu ticks. Looks like it's pretty slow. And let's see if this hide can get off.
Come on, best
Eddie.
Come on. It's fine. Now, although it doesn't look like it, this fight is now over. What's going to happen is DKC is going to shoot 1 more whoosh at everybody, and he's going to skip the 3rd one entirely because, well, there's no one left to whoosh. And all Rex has to do is wait for the justice comment. But on a slow battle speed, it's going to take a while. There it is.
A little bit. DKC was gathering his thoughts, and I just find it really satisfying that the heroes of this fight were a very slow old man and someone that hides.
I know! Eddie is best boy for reasons, y'all! Oh, wow. Well, it's an apple.
Will Rex reward his Eddie with a snack?
It's like, you have earned this as a treat.
My guess is no.
Probably not.
And that's our first objective done for anyone on our restream. Rex got his red number 1 lit up by our tracker, Ascorian. So we'll send, and he's keeping going. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He's going right back up.
I mean, it's one of those things. Yes, unfortunately, Eddie is the only one that gets XP from that. But again, you've taken a very cheeky fight against the moon. The moon is probably not happy, but heck the moon.
All right, Tibble's about to have his Darkness Crystal moment, and he's not terribly far behind. No one else, aside from Rex, has attempted a lunar spot, so he's definitely still in the running, and he got some gear and some knowledge from his trip underground.
Most importantly, he did get those sirens. I believe he's still the only one that has gone underground thus far. So although he's getting his Darkness Crystal last on Restream, he's got those eggs, which are really nice. All he needs to find are some coffins now, and you've got a free grind right there.
Also picked up a vanilla pan from Sheila. See if he chases that back underground. See if he has any intention of trying to pursue 10 key items before using the eggs. Looks like he's at 5 now. Yeah, I mean, he would have to do a number of additional checks if he wanted to attempt that. I'm not sure if that's on the table for him. Stellaris, though, is following in Tibble's footsteps now, and will be getting his underground access shortly.
And actually, what's interesting about Tibble is, as he's going into Antlion Cave, the obligatory 23-minute Antlion, Tibble hasn't gone to Mount Ordeals yet and hasn't picked up the pass. So hopefully that's not something he fades. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a Tella. So as it stands right now, he doesn't have a reason to go to Ordeals. So it could be a little tricksy as to what's going on.
And I'm so excited that Rex has
right?
Made the descent back into the LST. At the very least, he's going to gain knowledge. He might be able to snowball some experience depending on the fights that appear here. But there's definitely a number of very difficult fights that are going to force Rex to make a decision.
I mean, aside from Baron guards, I don't really know how many free bosses are left.
I wonder if we're going to see Rex maybe take just encounters to gain experience. But here we go, White Spear Altar.
Now this spot, I believe, has the lowest HP of the group, because this is Plague, and that's not a Plague. Heart Gamer, we have seen Water Hag, and we wasted Water Hag in Mist Cave.
Yeah, this party's tanking some hits, Tella not so much, but yeah, that's going to be tricky to get through right now.
That Paladin slapped that Tella so hard, he was trying to literally cook a chicken with a single slap. And science has determined the velocity at which you have to do so, and oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute.
We could potential, wow.
Oh no, I don't think he has a lit spell.
Not a single one, huh?
No.
I'm looking. Oh, I don't think, oh no.
No.
So there's, as Asuka described before, there is the potential for Eddie to kind of do what we call cheese strats on Odin Thunderstruck, where the one major requirement, in addition to some other useful setup things, is you do need an item that can cast lightning magic, and we did not see that in Rex's inventory.
What's interesting though is, we'll see what's at the Ogopogo spot first.
Ooh. Well, you called that one.
So, Antlion has returned to its native habitat on the moon in one of the most punchy spots in the game, which is awesome. But what Possumorpheus has showed us on his screen is he was taking some random encounters outside of Baron and running away from them like Brave Sir Robin. Corgs, why would Possumorpheus do that?
I think Possum is celebrating summer of 2020 when we all had to do that. But what Possum was doing was setting up basically just setting up encounters so that when he turns his encounters back on at a certain spot on the giant, he's going to get his desired grind fight, which is probably going to be the D Machine fight. The last summer we had a tournament where Can't Run was off, and you wouldn't want to wander around the giant taking encounters that you can't run from. So I think Twisted Flax, I believe it was, with Simbu's data kind of came up with this encounter counting system where you could guarantee you got the fight. So it looks like Possum is employing that, and we're about to see a D Machine from Possum to get himself to a spot where none of those lunar bosses are going to scare him very much. And
in a different form of D, Rex has shown us I believe the Crystal Sword Altar, which is the Wyvern spot, Wyvern spot, and that's actually kind of free if Tella can hit stone. Thing about Dark Imps is these tricky ones, they don't boss fit, so they can be affected by things like, I don't know, stone, I think maybe mute, just spells that you wouldn't normally see bosses be affected by.
Rex does have an hourglass.
That is true. Oh no, Rex, go back!
So either he didn't notice it or he's choosing to save it for something else.
That is a good question as to what he's saving it for.
Because despite their punchiness there, I think he would be able to get the hourglass off, especially with Edge in the back row. I think he can tank at least one, or he can just keep resetting until the RNG allows the hourglass to get thrown.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. Or yeah, he could just be maybe trying to see if he can get a cheeky grind later on. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But he is showing us the final spot on the moon, which is Cave Valley. Now, this is a very, very punchy spot. So you don't want to see a very punchy boss.
It's slow though, right?
It is kind of slow. If it wasn't slow, Bahamut would pretty much soft lock this entire game.
Oh no.
That's great.
Oh no.
Here's the thing though.
Oh no.
This is hilarious. But Rex actually kind of has the tools to deal with this fight. and it depends on how many star veils he has. The thing about the Bahamut spot is I don't think it's very magic intense.
It is not.
And Golbez will just sling spells at you once he takes out 60% of your party or brings you down to 2 characters. I don't blame Rex for saying, okay, I've played on the moon long enough, time to go back to Earth. But it's doable. It would just take a very long time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Rex did not find that Golbez say where the antline was at Masamune, because that's a spot where a low-level party, if you just get 1 star bell off, you are through the fight.
Agreed. Instead, have a punchy, googly-eyed bug face.
So we've got Possum doing the D-Machine grind at the top left, summoning D-Machine after D-Machine from that searcher. He's going to get a whole lot of experience in probably about 5 to 10 minutes time. Solaris going underground, Rex shopping, and Tybalt powering up. I assume he has the Tela, powering up his Tela on Mount Ordeal. So all 4 runners doing something completely different.
He does not have the Tela.
Nope.
Huh.
Remind me where the Tela was.
Was Tela on Hobbs? Because I know Edward was... Oh, it's on the moon.
Okay.
Old man moon.
This is actually good. This is good for Tybalt. 2 of our runners, I think, saw the Tela, then had to come back to do Ordeal. So Tybalt is actually going to get a fully powered up Tela when he encounters him.
Yeah, definitely one of those situations where the routing, although different, it looked like he was kind of far behind at that point, actually kind of worked in his favor.
I just noticed that Tybalt is named his Tela as Korgs, so I appreciate that. I am now fully powered up.
And I'm a best boy, which I just hide and do hiding things, or axe anchor.
You're the best, and I'm an old man. I get it.
Aww. No, you're. Hey! For the record, I've seen your streams. You have some heckin' amazing streams and like skill and stuff that I could never hope to have.
Well, it's from the years of experience because I'm so old.
I mean, to be fair, so I.
At this time of the stream, we didn't mention this is a 30-year-old. The base game, Final Fantasy IV, is 30 years old, and there is I would say the majority of our community is probably at least that old. We do have some youngsters.
Or shout out to the people like me who are older than Final Fantasy IV. Woo!
Yep.
Oh, and as I say that, pretty much every bone in my body cracks. But side note, shout out to, in addition to Korgs being absolutely awesome and a heckin' fantastic runner of this game, and if you haven't watched his streams, please do so. He's got some crazy cool stuff, especially with Twin Harp. Also, massive shout outs to Esco, who's doing our tracking for this 4-player, and I believe this is our first 4-player race, so GG's, have fun on that one. And shout out to our lovely Alicel, who is doing a restream and keeping us all in check. Esco and Ali are doing all the hard work. Korgs and I are just chit-chatting and trying not to get everyone too bored here with our yapping and my Edward love. But yeah, they do all the good stuff.
Thanks for your kind words, and I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone this, but Asuka has an amazing stream as well, and you should watch it and you should follow it, but you probably are already, and you know how great it is.
Yeah, let me shake my magic 8-ball. Signs point to Esco, Ali, and Korgs are better. And also, shout out again to our runners, Pasu, Rex, Solaris, Tybalt, being willing to get restreamed and be featured on these. Some people are used to it, some people are not, but it's still, it takes its toll. It's there's a lot. I mean, you're putting yourself out there, and all of them are heckin' awesome for doing so. Just like Solaris is heckin' awesome for showing us that Derek Mist has been found in Dwarf Castle in a fairly easy-ish spot. But give them love, give them follows, and yeah.
So Solaris doing a lot of checks after kind of essentially being in go mode. I like these interesting choices. You know, Possum, I think, is just going for the experience glut, and I'm wondering if this is mainly a character check for Solaris.
Given this party, and I know one of the starter kits did have a light sword in it, or maybe not one of the grab bags, but they have light swords, so they can give Cecil a decent weapon. And Pasu doing his D Machine grind, I'm not surprised given his 30 sirens and win a community race strategy from a few weeks prior.
The guy likes grinding. What can we say?
Well, he's trying to grind his way through the trash to find the good stuff.
It looks like he's done, though. So I think we're about to see a moon get cleared, but we'll see how each fight goes for him. He just got a whole bunch of hourglasses.
Yeah, you'll notice. Yeah, Pasu probably is like, okay, you know what? I'm good. We're just gonna do the thing at this point. No cheeky giant check. We don't need it. Although it'd be kind of fun to see who is there. Unfortunately, we're not gonna see it. I'm sad. But it looks like Rex has gone back up to the moon and said, you know what? Heck, these dark imps are mine.
Let's dance with the dimps again and see who wins this time. And it looks like they are stopped. They're going to get a few punches in and probably knock a whole bunch of people down. But after that, they're not going to do much.
And the nice thing is Tella was not knocked out. Tella, or Rex, I called Rex Tella. Rex is doing a very smart thing right now. He's casting Weak with Tella to, there are faster ways to do this. You can stone them and then they're all dead. But by casting Weak, he's going to probably do some cheeky life glitches, which will give essentially extra, you essentially kill them twice. You kill them, you revive them, and then they revive with 0 vitality, which means they revive with 0 HP and dead again. So it's a nice glitch to get a little bit extra XP, if you will.
Right. So for this fight, there are 3 dimps, and he'll be able to get 2 life glitches if everything goes according to schedule. So it'll be like he got the experience of 5, and but Eddie doesn't want to witness any of it. He's just going to hang out off screen for a little while.
Eddie is a pacifist and makes all the other characters do the work, or the bosses do the work.
Why is Possum going into an old rundown tower? There's no key item here. There's no boss here. What's happening?
Well, what he can be doing right now is he could be looking in the trap chest to see if he can find some pretty good items. There are 3 trap chests in Castle Evelyn, which can produce some pretty high-tiered items. And I don't think we have anything blocking. Scrolling through. Yeah. So you can get max tier 7, which are things like crystal swords and other really good stuff that are good for characters he doesn't have. Huh. Or Pasta is just looking for more fun stuff. It's understanding the mind of a marsupial is a lot of work. Or a Masamune, so there is that too.
That's true. And there's this first one. Now, it looks like Solaris discovered a Rosa in Dwarf Castle, and it looks like Tilt's going to be doing Baron, so I like the fact that our runners are giving us all this different information. We're going to get another character look from Tybalt when he gets to the 2 Baron bosses.
Unfortunately for Solaris, since he did get rid of Eddie there, he can no longer do, currently can no longer do the cheeky Eddie strats, but C-Buy is not on, so if he really needs to, he can go back and get that Edward. He's going to try to play it straight. We'll see. Esco, our tracker, has noticed Rex has Thor Rages.
This is exciting. Rex is not grinding. He's already got 2 objectives done, and if he can get this setup correctly executed, we're going to see a really fun strat against this Odin, and potentially a 3rd out of 5 objective for Rex.
As much as I'd love to see it, I wonder in the end, Q Lincoln Park here, what's going to be more effective? Rex getting these boss checks done with, or you have someone like Pasu who, as soon as he goes to the moon, it's just going to blow up. So I'm curious to see what's going to end up being best case scenario here. Now, what Rex is doing is slowing down Odin with that silk web. Now, best case scenario is if he has an illusion or the blink spell, he's going to cast on Eddie. What that does is it gives kind of a buffer for how Thunderstruck works. And essentially, what he's going to do, so Odin is going to sacrifice the remaining party to the gods. Case in point. So how Thunderstruck works is there's a script for Odin's fight where after the third, I believe, Thunderstruck, or the third...
Third sword raise.
Yes, third sword raise. You use any single lightning ability, and you'll see this script.
Here it comes. Well done, Rex. Nailing the Thunderstruck. 100,000 experience, all for Eddie.
This is a swole bar, and it's another apple. Eddie's like, come on, I have earned these apples. I deserve a treat.
Yeah. Come to the town square this Saturday at the farmer's market and visit Eddie's apple stand.
I love it. And of course, we have a white spear for a cane we don't have.
Yeah, it's been a pretty cruel moon in terms of, not giving us... I mean, really with this party, it's basically Masamenes and Murasames that you might want to see. There's, you're not going to get the great Sid weapon that you might get from a Super Smith, and Yang doesn't have a great weapon, so... yeah, without that cane, these rewards are not great, but he is getting through some of them.
And let's see here. We are tackling Pale Dim now. And Pale Dim punch hard, but Pale Dim, what his script is, you use an attack command, and Pale Dim just slows your party. So it's going to be a very long conversation with Pale Dim. The problem is Tella can't really use majority of his spells because Pale Dim really thrives off of elemental spells and abilities. So it'll actually heal him, which is not what we want to do to this boss.
Looks like we have a use of that white spear. There it goes, doing 3,700 damage against that Pale Dim, and it's gone forever.
In before somehow Kane shows up and says, "Hi friends, I'm here." Let's see here. We did see Solaris pick up some key items that are unique to his stream right now. He does have the Earth Crystal and the hook, so we do get to see a hook character. We do get to see what boss is going to be waiting at the element spot, or excuse me, the ruby spot, which is not required, but it's good knowledge nonetheless. It'll tell Solaris what is not on the moon.
I think I saw Solaris pick up an Avenger, probably from the Pinktail turn-in. But as we're noting, we have no Cecil and no Kane. Now, I did not see who Tybalt character option was in Baron. I don't know if you saw it.
I was distracted by Eddie's strats, but so we found a discount foo on the moon, and now we have found a full foo.
True foo.
True foo. Vanilla foo and not vanilla foo spot. We do have a mop, and the mop is on the hook route.
Very useful when you have a whole bunch of moon fights to get through, and very useful when you have a Z fight at the end of it. And a huge upgrade. Sid was not doing much for any of these, any of our runners, so Fu was a huge upgrade over Sid in this case.
Meanwhile, Pasu is running down the moon, checking to see what was FK value, decided to nope out of that, and then, well, because Golbez reasons, and is now going to be just charging through the moon. So we've seen Rex take some really cheeky fights using Eddie strats. Now we get to see what a fully powered up team is going to be doing to these same spots.
Looks like Possum's just going to be able to sit there, take the Farouche spells, as you name them, and he does not need to have Eddie hide. In fact, Eddie can hide on the floor along with Tella.
Look, I use scientific terminology like whoosh, and it makes sense in my mind, don't worry. At least that's what the voices agree with, or they agree with me on.
Oh, I knew exactly what you were talking about when you said it. I think it's a perfect description.
This is why I can't have nice things. I just go whoosh.
Looks like Rex is returning to Pale Dim. We'll see if he can get through this time. It's going to be, he's resetting again. It is going to be tricky for him compared to our kind of more leveled up players that will be coming through.
I wonder what point Rex is going to say, you know what, let's continue this method or try to go somewhere else, either get levels or try to find sirens that we know exist. Or he could maybe start building up for potential Eddie Strat Z fight and not care about levels. I'm not sure. But with bosses like Pale Dim, Golbez, and Antlion left, the signs point to bleh. Aw, terrible. I just got whooshed away, Corbs.
Uh-oh. I'm still on the team, but yep, you have been replaced.
I know. I got replaced by you! Hold a second here.
I guess age before beauty?
I mean, if you're talking beauty, that would mean like Ellie and Esco. I'm just a potato doing potate things.
Well, I could also just be referring to our namesake characters. I think Eddie's is probably supposed to be a gorgeous bard.
I mean, literally that blonde hair. Heck.
Yeah.
There are not enough hair products in the real world to get hair like that.
Yeah, whenever I have a Rosa Eddie start, I always consider them. That's team hair.
That's like Team Fabio hair pre-Bird Strike. And also, there's probably a couple people in the chat right now are going, huh? And then the other half of the people going, yep, that's another way to feel old.
Well, take a look. We have 4 runners and we have 4 different grinds. We have the D Machine, we have Double Dragons, we have Warlocks, and we have Rex basically going grindless and just trying to get his experience from the fights.
Yeah, the moon definitely has some very interesting grind options available with the Double Dragons. If you have an Hourglass and the Weak Spell, you can get some pretty good XP with the King Ryu's. Excuse me, with the Tybalt screen using the Warlock grind. If you have Mute Bells, you essentially render those Warlocks useless. And either way, you can get life glitches from both grinds and get a good amount of XP both ways. And maybe like Pasu, who's just like, I've already done D Machine. Dark Imps go bye-bye.
Yeah, it's satisfying to watch the Warlocks. After you mute bell them, they still cast their spells, or they try to, but nothing comes out of their mouths and nothing happens. They are going to throw a punch when there's only one left, but which could be dangerous for the character named Possum on Tybalt's screen. That's the Porum. You're probably going to want her to get this initial experience, so that it would be kind of regretful if she were to get punched down at the end of the fight.
I'm almost kind of surprised that Tybalt didn't cast a blink on Porum, just precautionary method. Clearly he didn't need to.
Nope.
Let's see how many levels Pasu gets. 24, all right. Porum is online-ish. Also, I'm going to take a wild stab and say that Pasu was hanging out at Baron Castle, given he's the only one with a Baron key.
Yeah, I would say that is a good deduction. It apparently was not a Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil's like, y'all got this. So we have a white mage. We have 2 white mages in the sea. We have Rosa, who came from Dwarf Castle, and Porum, who came from Baron Castle. So just different white mages in different castles, and they are both clearly self-rescuing princesses. Or marsupials.
Marsupial princesses.
I mean, heck, you've seen pictures of those mama Pasus with like 20,000 baby Pasus on her back. Heck.
Yeah, they're pretty fierce.
They are. We do see Solaris has finished his grind and is going to be trying to blow up the moon, much like Pasu is currently doing. And actually, calling back the Fabio comment earlier, our wonderful Night Mom Scala Kitty has mentioned in chat that Final Fantasy VII facts from previous night, there's actually a Final Fantasy character named Fabio. Nice. And it's one of the novel-only characters. The more you know.
I'm not even sure if I knew there were novels.
There are. I think there's the one I've seen has like a lot of short stories that talk about words. I know Aerith in the live stream, and then coming across Sephiroth in the live stream, and a whole bunch of other things that Scala can definitely explain better than I can.
Oh, is it just FF7 novels, or do a lot of the games have their own novels?
Maybe. I know there's. Let's see. There's, as Scala said, there's 3 FF7 novels. I know there's a lot. Final Fantasy IV has 2 novels, and then a terrible fan fiction called Final Fantasy IV: The After Years. And here comes the hate. I know Eddie was useful in that game.
I'm taking a look back up at Rex at the moment. Sorry to distract back to Rex's screen there, but he has been at this fight for a while. I'm really rooting for him to get through it, but you can just see the when you attempt these fights low level, it's bold, but they are going to take you a while.
Yeah, because pretty much in the time that Rex has been taking on this Paladin fight, Pasu has already taken 2 different boss fights and is fighting Odin legit right now, and he'll probably knock on desk get through it, especially if it looks like Tella might be casting a Lit 3, or Edge can just say, you know what, Tella gets to cast that spell forever.
Tella's just mumbling to himself.
He's trying to use recall, even though he doesn't need to remember recall anymore.
Yeah, he didn't recall. He doesn't need to use recall.
Tella's just happy to be here and Tella-lifing.
But like you said, Possum is just kind of tearing through the moon. His objective buttons are lighting up, and he may get through this Paladin fight before Rex did, despite Rex getting into it much earlier.
Agreed. And what's actually interesting about Pasu's pass through this seed and this flag set in general, if you notice, Pasu has 0 underground access whatsoever, which is very interesting about this fight, or this flag says, yeah, you can go to the moon without having to go underground, and that's totally cool because you have the D machine grind available to you if you know how to do it, or if you happen to come across a lot of physical fighters and have weaponry that's anti-giant, you have a Mac Giant grind. So there are options available, again, if you have the tools in your toolkit, as Pasu is showing.
Yeah, for sure.
Question from our tracker, did Pasu remember to turn his battle speed up? Yep, looks like he did. Anytime that question comes up, I just assume that they didn't. Ooh, cheers to Rex taking out the Paladin. Let's see what this is gonna give.
Back-to-back Lunar rewards for a character we do not have.
I mean, it makes nice dart, though.
That's true. It's another thing to quickly get rid of for good purpose. We're going to see what Rex's call is now. So Rex now is down to, so even though his purple number 5 objective is lit up, that represents the ribbon altar that he completed. The Masamune altar is also still on the table. That was Antline, which is going to be very difficult for Rex's team as it currently is constituted. So it looks like, I was wondering if he's going to go try the Golbez for objective 1 in Cave Bahamut, but he's heading back to Earth. We'll see what he does, as our other 3 Restream Bracers are still kind of working their way through the moon.
Honestly, with how Pasu's been working through this flag set, I 100% expect him to just tear through this spot and then head to, let's see here, probably take on the Ogo spot. And the reason I think that is, you go to Ogo and you can just walk right to Z. I mean, you can swag walk it if you're feeling cheeky and bold. After he sees Antline there, I'm not sure if he will do that, but you never know. But you can see right then and there the difference between a low-level moon fight and a fully online moon fight. That was massively different. Yeah,
I'm glad my prediction of Possum getting through it before Rex did not come true, but he did get through it significantly faster. And Rex
it was close.
It was, yes. Only probably about a minute or so difference, despite the head start.
So let's see what Pasu thinks when he sees, because he's seen Golbez, and now he's going to see this Antlion and realize that he's a choice to make.
Two terrible choices. I think he's staying here, though.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially the thing with Yang and Sid is that their HP pools are massive. So they can take a bit of a punch from Antlion. And the thing with Antlion is you can mitigate some of its damage by just simply not using the fight command. So you can do any like a dart or a ninja spell. Yang can do power or kick. Or Punch Eddie. Sid can be happy to be here. Tella can use his spells. So all you'll get is the occasional punches from Antlion. If they were to use a fight command, then Antlion would just hit the counter ability, which is another physical attack.
Yep, you don't want to take that few hundred damage every time you swing. That's why you don't see Berserk being used, at least not yet. And Possum has done, after this start, he's going to be probably like 60 to 75% of the damage has already been done with those darts, each hitting for over 5k. So yeah, Possum's going to be through this pretty quickly, and we'll see if the swag walk happens. Possum is definitely a runner capable of it, and it would not shock me at all.
Agreed. And what's interesting looking at Possum's comp is it's not the most ideal. When you're essentially relying on Tella to do a lot of your healing, you're very limited. Tella has a very, very limited MP pool. And with characters like Yang, like Sid, like Edge, you don't have many options for doing a good amount of damage very quickly. So I'm curious to see what Possum's going to do now that he's going to get his crystal. We're going to see what the Ogopogo had. That's a nice rain to find, that's for sure.
That'll give a little extra help, defensive help during the Z fight. And I think maybe, like, have we seen Cure 3s? Because that would definitely help Possum's team. And though he was one of the runners who did not pursue Twin Harp, did not get underground, did not have the full access to all the shops. No swag walk. He's going to go back and save and play it safe. So I completely understand that decision.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what he's going to do now. He's using exit. Side note: once you get into the shiny room area, you actually can't use the exit or warp spell. You have to wait to get into essentially the LST proper before you can do it again. It looks like Possum is heading back to Earth, and we'll see where he's going to go. Because I wouldn't be surprised. Like Bill mentioned in chat, hunting Cure 3 pots. Sid with a stack of Cure 3s is a fantastic white mage. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
He will be right through that Z fight with that setup, and having the pass allows him to do this. I would be curious if he never had that pass, what would his decision making change if he knew he had to rewalk the Lunar subterrane?
What's interesting though is he landed at Troya.
Yeah.
And that's where you turn in the pass. So unless there's Cure 3s in Troya and we just missed it, this is gonna
Let's see if he even checks.
Is he just gonna go fight Z?
Looks like we're fighting Z.
Oh, heck! Z flags! Hurry up!
All right. I'm gonna put mine. Hold on. Here it goes.
Yep, same. Hold on.
I win.
Heck and fluff. There. Ha. All right. So in that case, since you are the faster Z sprite person, explain what those Z flags are.
Do you think it's the start of a backwards alphabet challenge? Because if it is, then why? And then it's on you.
I can only count to potato.
Okay, so given that, we are at the potato end of this seed, meaning we're about to finish it, at least Possum is. And Z is Zeromus. That is our final boss, though. He is the boss that does not get randomized. He's always in the same spot, always doing the same things, always challenging even the best runners with the final boss script. However, to spice things up a little bit, the devs have included one of the greatest features of this randomizer is you get a different sprite every time you or at least a chance at a different sprite every time you fight. So we're about to see Zeromus's facelift, and we're about to find out whose butt we're going to kick tonight.
And I hope it's Zero Ward. Except I want Zero Ward to win. Because Zero Ward.
Then I guess we'd be here all night if that comes true.
Yeah, fair point.
But with the caliber of runner on Restream, even if it is Zero Ward, I think they're going to get through him, unfortunately.
activated. He's activated his trap card. No more Blue Eyes White Dragon. Or Red Eye. No, he is. Yeah, he is Blue Eyes White Dragon.
We've got Kaibamus. Time to duel.
And Heart Gamer in chat, I'm sure, is absolutely loving seeing this right now. Heart's very much a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Oh, that's right. Joey is the one with the Red Eyes Black Dragon. And then Kaiba has the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Karibo or Riot. Heck. As Pasu is going through this Z fight, Rex has decided to do a giant grind. So yeah, he's probably realizing his options now are uh-oh and uh-oh. He's gonna get a little bit few more levels and then take on that last spot.
And as far as I can tell, despite these are not our only runners, but it does not look like anyone else is finished. So Possum is definitely has put himself in position to potentially win the entire community race if he can get through this Z fight.
Okay, so it does look like looks like a 3 Zerg strat going on.
And I saw a Cure 3 pot thrown. It might have been his one and only, unless I read that wrong. So we'll see how he handles healing from here on out.
And the person you did not want to get high rolled on that was Tella, and Tella pulled a Tella life, and Tella died.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with this fight, Zeromus does his big bad spell, Big Bang, which can typically do over 2,000 damage, but it's possible to nerf the damage of that spell, and it's very easy to do the first time out. But even nerfed, it can roll as high as 1,200, and as Asuka said, it often will roll for 5, 6, 7, 800, but Tella did get high rolled, and he is kind of low right now.
And the problem is with all three of them, or I almost said tier 6, tier 3, and tier 4, with Edge, Sin, Yang all zerked, Pasu literally has to wait until Z uses Black Hole before he can do anything at this point. So although he's getting a good amount of damage, he is going to be eating a fully unnerfed Big Bang, which means Edge is most likely going to go down. Sid and Yang should still be able to survive, though. Should. Unless... Is Pasu going to tip? That's what I'm curious on. Because I think Kaibamus did some shaking not too long ago.
Looks like he's getting about 5k damage per round. There's another shake. And Possum knows, is a very high level runner of this game. He knows what's going on here, so he's fully committed to recovering once the Big Bang happens and the black hole comes out. He could have easily reset, but he knows how to get through this, given make the right calls, make the right inputs, and maybe get a little good RNG along the way.
And what's interesting is Solaris has finished the Antlion fight. Oh wow, Edge. Solaris has finished the Antlion fight and has received his crystal as well, and has a much more cozy comp, particularly with that food that Rosa. And Solaris is swag walking. This just got spicy, chat.
Yeah, I think we can see a little Final Fantasy IV equation here. If you have Tella, you go back and save, and if you don't, you can walk right down if your white mage is Rosa.
And as we saw on Pasu's screen, Black Hole has been tossed, meaning he does have... Oh, no. Oh, wow.
With tip to rocks, Yang still has tons of HP.
This is... Oh, yep. He's going to be doing... Oh, he's doing some run buffering. This is basically a very nice way to prevent your opponent from... prevent the boss from doing anything right now, and to try to get as much time as possible. Cure 2 going off on... Oh, yeah, it is entirely in Yang's claws right now.
Yep. At most, he needs 5 more punches. This when you see rocks, there's about 12k left. He might have done more damage than that, and yeah, this is it. Sid goes down. This is going to be close. How much damage can Yang get out before the next rocks come out?
Oh no! Oh no!
Ooh.
Oh no!
I don't fully.
Oh.
Yeah, that was super close. I would
Yeah.
say Z had somewhere in like the 5 to 6K left at most.
Yeah, that was probably maybe 1 or 2 punches away. Oof. And yeah, now we have Solaris in the fight, and again, we have the difference of a Rosa and a Fu, particularly a powered up, leveled up Rosa and Fu. So this fight's going to be a lot easier. Rosa's going to be able to keep the boys alive with Cure 3's, Cure 4's, I think, with those HP totals.
Oh, for sure. She might even have white.
Yeah, 25 HP, or 25, exactly 25 HP. 2500, yeah, most likely. Because I think Rosa gets Cure 4 around the 1400 to 1600 HP levels.
Yeah, high teens, mid to high teens. And with that hit point toll, not only is she a great just white mage, she can tank an unnerfed Big Bang because, as we said,
Oh, yep, there's white.
Yeah, yep. And to answer Scory in our tracker in chat, no one has finished off stream, so both of our restream runners at Z are still going for that #1 spot. They could easily finish 1-2.
Oh, I feel for Pasux. A lot of us have been in that spot of knowing just how close you are. And Pasu's one that could probably tell you exactly to the single HP how close he was to finishing that fight. And yeah, it was probably a punch or two away. But yeah, with hybrid strats on Solaris' side, Rosa casting white, Tala most likely casting nuke. Yeah, that 7,000 white, reflected 7,000 white. This fight's going to be a lot quicker.
We always say Z, you can never take Z for granted, but with the hit point levels, the power levels that Solaris has, it would take a big effort by Kaibamis to win this one.
Yeah, it would definitely take some very, very, very cheeky high rolls from Z to knock down his party at this point.
I think I've heard someone say the Big Bangs can potentially go as high as 2,700. They get different amount of attack rolls, I think, depending on which Big Bang it is. But even at, I'm assuming there's some gear on these characters to mitigate even the highest of rolls. And with those HP totals, very difficult to take down Solaris' party.
That's actually a good point. How much of a factor does your defensive gear play in altering the Big Bang damage?
I don't know the math behind it specifically. There are much more knowledgeable folks in the community, but all I know is, if I'm going into Z and I have, say, a leather shirt on Rosa versus a white shirt, I'm pretty confident the white shirt Rosa is going to take much less or much reduced damage from those Big Bangs. So, yeah, magic defense gear is the name of the game. You don't want physical defense gear here. So something like a glass hat is not valuable against Z, whereas a tiara or a wizard hat even is.
And actually, if you look at Pasu's screen, he's done something slightly different. He's actually chosen to hide Edward and bring him back. So I could see if Pasu does hide Edward again, he could either be using it as a really cheeky chemist, or if that situation happens again, where Z just completely trolls Pasu, he could switch to last minute Eddie strats, which I'd love to see. But
I wonder if that would be possible. Obviously, I don't think you could do true Eddies, maybe with the way the agility is, but like you said, there could be some utility, even from a level 1 Eddie, just as that safety valve. I definitely agree.
Yeah, and you do see Eddie did come out from hiding to revive Tella, and I believe is going right back into his little hidey hole, maybe, possibly. Eddie's thinking. He's a small boy. There we go. Bye, Eddie.
Eddie just got healed for 10 times more hit points than he could possibly have.
I know. Eddie is a good boy. He's a good little egg.
And here come the rocks on Solaris' side. I do not think Solaris is going to run into the same issue that Possum did, and this fight's going to be over pretty shortly.
Oh no, yeah, that's going to be a pretty good. Should be up. There it is. There is the flash, crack, pop, and boom. Solaris has finished the race and has won the race with an official time of, I know it's 1 hour, 8 minutes, and some seconds and change. So get your GGs, or continue to get your GGs out, heck, for Solaris, and we'll see if Solaris wants to join us in the codes booth. And meanwhile, we do get to see Tybalt taking the bold play and taking on a Lunar bro.
It's our first runner to attempt the Golbez, isn't it?
On Restream, yes. I don't know what other runners have done thus far, but yeah, we get to see good old World of Warcraft style shoulder pads in action.
And check out Rex is doing the same thing, walking up boldly with 2 pigs.
Okay, so here's what's interesting. And before I jump into this, Sorbius has finished this race in second place with a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, 33 seconds. Harumph has finished in third place at 1 hour, 9 minutes, 43 seconds. Anywho, what Rex Banner has done is pretty much made Shadow useless. Shadow would eat 3 characters until there's only 2 left, and then Shadow will be full and leave. Now, to prevent Golbez's you don't get to do anything spell, there's a hierarchy of status effects that is on par with explaining relative agility. It's witchcraft. So we're just going to go along with the fact that things like Piggy, like Minnie, those override the you don't get to do anything spell. So you have full control of your characters as it's as Golbez just gets to laugh and taunt you.
Yep, it's definitely a way to kind of nerf Golbez's ability to really, dictate who's left alive. So Rex putting that to good use, and Tybalt actually getting through Golbez at this point as well.
And meanwhile, it does look like Morpheus has finished in 4th place with an official time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 18 seconds. So GG's to Pasu. And like I said, we will see if we can get those 2 runners in here.
And we've got Tybalt hopping, actually using the Earth Crystal, going back. Now, how many checks has he done on the moon? I'm not sure if he has. He does have the pass, but I'm not sure if he has all of the required altars done for the crystal.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one either. He did take a not so great wipe to Golbez, unfortunately, which sent him away, but...
Was that a wipe? I thought he got through. I thought I saw the ending text.
I was distracted by Kaiba and Kariboing and stuff, but
I could definitely be wrong.
Stuff and things and words. But so normally we've made some extra space in here. We've upped our max capacity in the comms booth, and we have not one, but we have 2 fantastically awesome people that have joined us. We have our winner Solaris and our 4th place finisher Possum Morpheus in here. So GG's, you 2.
Well done, guys.
GG's, Solaris.
Thank you. GG, Possum.
Pasu, I want to start with you, and I want to just say big F. What were your thoughts on that first Z fight?
I knew it was going to be a scuffed attempt. That's why I didn't swag walk. I needed Tella to not take more than 1,041 damage on the first Big Bang, and he decided to take 1,120. I was surprised it even got to Meteo. If I had one more Cure 3, I'd get through, but Young came up roughly 1,100 damage shy, and that was that.
Yeah, it was. We were watching all those punches come in as Sid threw the Cure 2, and then eventually went down to 1 rocks. And yeah, I think you maybe got 3 to 4 punches off with Young, and I didn't know at what level you went in when the rock started. So if you were counting, and you were basically maybe 1 or 2 punches away there.
Yeah, it was 1 away. But I mean, after having to dart everything in humanity, at Antlion. That meant that the Z fight was going to be a lot trickier once Black Hole hit, and I needed either Tella to not die, or to have a lower roll where one of the two big boys with their health pools would survive. Didn't happen. It is what it is. GG's to Solaris as a result.
I will say, just watching you take on that fight and knowing that comp was not ideal, that was heckin' impressive. I mean, there's a lot of people that would not have gone into that fight without shopping or looking for the characters, and that was really cool to see. And then just once you reset, you did it again. You hit Eddie, and you recovered beautifully. Like, that was cool. That was really cool.
I have a question for Solaris there. GG against Solaris. Congrats on your win. So
Thank you.
I think you all enjoy rewatching this because all four of our restream runners, you know, there were many different paths, many different decisions made. You got your Darkness Crystal as you know, everyone did fairly early from Fabul, and then you kind of started doing more checks. What were your thoughts there? What did you want to find? What do you want to see?
Okay, so there were two clear options, and also, again, GG's to Possum. I saw the typing in the race chat, so I was like, all right, I will happily take second or more. And then I saw more people typing there, so people finishing with a fury. Love seeing a close race like this. But so when Darkness happened that early, it's like, okay, either I take this garbage team, I know Edward's and Baronin, I take this garbage team, I demachine, and then I just hope that I can stumble my way through everything. Or something has to get me underground access, and maybe I'll gamble on a magma key, which happened, and then maybe I'll gamble on being able to quickly stumble into 10 key items, which happened. And so, like, that's kind of what was playing in my mind. And Dwarf Castle was a potential character upgrade, and the hook giving Fusoya was also an upgrade. So, I mean, it just sort of all lined up in a way that kind of worked out in that way, and it was, like, unclear to me what was the better path. The D-Machine route might have been the more fun path for stumbling through things, but I'm glad I chose the way I went.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Rosa and that Sorry, Asuka, were just humongous pickups, and we saw Possum do the Antlion at Masamune, and we were wondering, would there be a swag walk? We kind of knew it was unlikely having Tella as your white mage, and then when you approached, definitely, you know, having Rosa 2500 hit point Rosa, yeah, you can swag walk that one.
Yeah, I was so ready to. I the Mura altar and then the Crystal Sword altar, which you did next, because I knew I wasn't doing that Golbez basically ever. Both being free was hilarious. Or at least the Mura was, for me, it was free because I did a grind, and then DKC was easy. Also, if I had Edward, that would be nice. But anyways,
I know, right?
That gave me so much experience because I was like, sure, I'll life glitch these Dark Imps at the Crystal Sword altar. Why not? Why not have all the experience? So kind of made getting through everything else super safe.
Now, my question to both of you is, I mean, as we all know, the Lunar Tour 2021 was the Week 3 Pink Puff Flags seed, or flag set. Why do you think it's gotten so much positive feedback from the community as a whole? I mean, it's just people kind of, when this came out, they embraced it, and it's fascinating to see just how many like runners of all different levels have played this particular set. Like what do you find fast, or what do you find that works about this setup?
I think this takes all the best parts about Giant Percent and makes it more accessible. You don't have to know all of the fancy glitches. You don't necessarily have to know all the fancy grinds. Generally speaking, Sirens are going to be available. If not, D-Machine usually on the table. Those two are the primary grind options that you normally see within the framework of Free Enterprise. Having a starting edge means the early game's very accessible. You don't hit any sort of stumbling blocks. So I think it's the overall accessibility of the flag set. It's very much so like Supermarket Sweep, where you have the ability to just go nuts early on. And then it's a matter of how do you optimize this down to the core. And that's something that's fun for all levels. I think that's, to me, why it was so wildly successful.
Yeah, I feel similarly from the line of if you take giant percent and just call it moon percent instead, that's essentially what this is. It's a get darkness crystal and it's a boss rush. And it only being K main means, like, yeah, there are some gross rabbit holes that might kind of divert people from one path or another path to finding that darkness crystal, but other than that, it's just like get to the moon and then just kill a whole ton of bosses and finish the game. And I just find that super fun. And the edge start and kind of some of the flag settings, initially kind of a consequence of being good for the pink puffs, I think, like Possum said, just lend themselves well towards accessibility. Though I think there is room to iterate on this flag set in a way that will still be very fun while keeping the core gameplay of K-main, darkness, boss hunt on the moon. I think it's really fun, and I kind of am looking forward to playing with this a little bit and seeing where it goes. Well, on top of it just being, I hope, something we play more in the future. So yeah, I really like it.
And I want to say for people in chat that don't know, it's, yes, okay, I made the temple for this, but I don't make the temple alone. I incorporate the help of people that are very smart and intelligent and knowledgeable about the game. For this particular flag set, Possum Morpheus was one of the sages that I went to directly to kind of review this flag set. But ironically, it's fitting that Possum, Solaris, Rex, and Tybalt are the restream runners today, because the four of you have been very, very supportive of the Pink Puff League and helpful all the time. Solaris, he was one of the sages I went to for the jumping, the push B to jump flag set that we did the previous week. So on behalf of Pink Puff headquarters and all of the fantastic puffs, thank you for kind of making sure that this stays the course and does right by the puffs.
Of course, I love the Pink Puff League. When one of the first conversations I think you and I had was, when is Pink Puff happening? At least I remember messaging you that pretty early on in us knowing each other, because it's something I really, really wanted. I wanted it for myself when I was a newbie, but I kind of quickly grew out of that stage, and I just like the idea of, accessibility, and because not everyone is going to be top tier quality of this, to play this game. And also, as we grow, I think it's important because the longer community that's based around competition grows, the more naturally the skill level rises, just from time spent doing this. And so I think that becomes a less accessible thing unless we make efforts to make sure that the game is still accessible for new folks coming in. So I just think it's really important, and I'm so glad we're doing it. So thank you for spearheading it, Huska.
Yeah, definitely huge thanks, Asuka. I've said it once and I'll say it again. In my opinion, the Pink Puff League is the best thing to happen to Free Enterprise since I've been in the community, and we're going over a year now for that. I wish it were something that existed when I was starting. I wish it was something that existed sooner. I'm so happy there is a more newbie-oriented focus now, kind of to pick up maybe where the Hummingway Open had left off. I absolutely adore the concept, and I think you've done a fantastic job with it. And I think you deserve all the praise in the world for that.
I definitely... Nope, that's not allowed. I'd definitely like to echo that from Possum. I'd like to shout out NG Dave, who came in 5th place in this race and probably raced this flag set as part of the Pink Puff League a couple of weeks back. So it's already paying dividends. These Pink Puff, who are relatively newer players, are getting bootstrapped up into fine racing shape. And if you're watching out there, as just about all of us started by watching and enjoying, and this sounds fun to you, join our Discord, join the Pink Puff League, get to learn from anyone you're watching tonight, you're hearing tonight. It's a great community that shares its knowledge and will help anyone with anything at any time, and that's barely an exaggeration.
Yeah, and we race every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You get the flag set beforehand. And there's a lot of really awesome, super smart people that are willing to help, like Possum Morpheus, like Solaris, like Rex Bander, like Tybalt, like Korgs. There's everyone wants to help and see all y'all succeed. And again, shout outs to Lisa and Dave, who finished 5th, hour 12:39. Pyre finishing in 6th, 1 hour 14 minutes 36 seconds. It's seeing Puffs come out of the woodwork and racing these community races and doing well is so awesome, and it's so happy, and getting the help from these wonderful other racers that like Possum Morpheus and Solaris. It makes me so happy.
Hey, Possum, awesome. Possum, you're casting Cure 4 a lot over there. How do you feel about that? I don't know if you're watching the restream right now.
I assume I have been honorably named Porum and someone found one.
Tybalt did!
Tybalt is using you well, healing up his team. He's got 1,740 hit points.
Yeah, and then Tybalt booted me out of the team and replaced me with Korgs.
I hope he saved a coffin for Porum before the end of things. Otherwise, I'll give him flack for that.
Well, unfortunately, no. Possum has survived, and Tybalt has finished his race in 7th with hour 24 minutes and 39 seconds, and Rex Banner is in the Z fight as well. So, in the meantime, any last words from you two heckin' amazing runners?
Just GG's again to Solaris. Race well done. I'll be interested to watch it back and see all the divergent paths that y'all have talked about. Thank you again, Asuka and Korgs, for the comms. Thank you, Esco, for tracking. Thank you, Ali, for rolling this beautiful seed. Sorry I couldn't represent Team Lakshmi better this time, but we'll get them on Friday.
Yeah, just thanks, to the Restream team. Thanks to Possum for largely helping flash this particular flag set, and Asuka for Pink Puff in general, and so much thanks, cheers. Yeah, looking forward to watching it back as well. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good night, guys.
GG's. And as they winded down that interview, we had another Pink Puff finish their race. Rybon has actually finished in 8th with a time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 37 seconds. So GG's to them, and we are going to hit a button right here. We're going to boop a Tybalt into the comms booth, and yeah. Hi, Tybalt. GG's.
GG, Tybalt.
He is so stunned that he's finished. He forgot to unmute himself.
He just wants more GGs. GG,
yeah, there it is. There it is.
I thought I had unmuted myself.
Fair enough. So the one thing I want to touch base with you on is, of the 4 restreamed runners, you were the only one that pretty much did an extremely thorough check of Underground. Because you were also, of the 4, the last one to check Fabul. So it was nice finding the sirens, but what was your initial thought when you saw where Darkness Crystal was?
Oh, I saw Darkness Crystal, I'm like, oh, well, great. I could be way behind, so I made the gamble to go do Twin Harp, since I had enough darts. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I know where everything is. I'll take I would like 10 key items. Unfortunately, I only got 9. The miscount. And I took the first white mage I could find.
And we were just noting she was doing quite a good job. You got her up to almost 1,800 hit points, and she was throwing those Cure 4s that kept your team alive at the end. When you started peaking your Moonspot bosses, did you have a plan in mind about who you would take and who you wouldn't? Like, how did that decision? Because that's really what the seed's all about. Which Moonspot do you fade?
I mean, I first checked Bahamut. I saw Golbez. I went, nope, not right now. I want some extra levels, so I'll go do some Warlocks and Gold Dragons. And I'll go down to the bottom of the LSD. Since I had the pass, there's 3 bosses right next to each other. Once I had, near almost wiped party, I went, you know what? Golbez actually looks reasonable now. I don't have to do Piggy or Size. I don't have to try to knock anybody off. I'll just go do him now and leave the Crystal Sword Altar alone. Though the Antlion, good thing I had all the darts from before.
Yeah, that was it was a prime example of why we did 5 out of 6 instead of do all 6.
Yeah, because I was out of darts at that point. He got everything plus the kitchen sink.
That was kind of ironic that we didn't get the great characters that could use those weapons. No Cecil, no Kane, but you definitely found a way to put them to use. Yeah,
I was hoping for a Cecil. You start off with a light sword in the grab bags, and I'm like, all right, cool. If not, it's a dart.
If it makes you feel any better, nobody else on Restream found a Cecil. Rosa was found, but not a Cecil. And Fu.
Oh, Fu. Fu would have been so nice.
Fu was the hook route character, and I believe Rosa was Earth Crystal?
Dwarf.
Oh, sorry, Dwarf Castle. There we go.
The few places I faded, because I was just like, I'm in technical go mode. I just need levels and I can go.
Did you give any thought to the D Machine, or since you found the Sirens, you just knew that was going to be it?
I found the Sirens and I knew where mute bells were, and I figured the Warlocks would be just fine enough. I didn't even have a thought of doing a D Machine. Don't think I actually found Ethers in a shop at the time.
And what's interesting is all 4 of you showed a different grind, so it was nice to see the variance. I know Warlocks was one of the last ones I realized you could do grinds for, so I definitely appreciate you showing that one off and showing that how viable it is, so thank you for that.
Yeah, if you're able to get life glitches on 2 of them, if you have 10 key items, they're almost equivalent to the Gold Dragons. They give about 172,000 if I remember correctly.
Yep, yeah. Great source. And as Asuka mentioned, I think you'll have fun watching this back if you choose to. Tremendous variance, really great. You were part of a group of 4 great runners showing us basically a lot of the game, a lot of different ways to get through fights, a lot of different, as Asuka mentioned, grinds. And you'll if you watch it back, you'll see Rex basically dove the moon as soon as he could and had 3 of the bosses done before just about anyone else did. But then his lack of a grind kind of then slowed him down a little bit. So definitely a GG to you for showing us Warlocks and running a really great seed.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts on the seed, or what you like about it? What I can totally tweak for season 2?
Oh, I actually think this flex that's actually kind of nice. It gives you a feel for, you may not have an optimal quote unquote party for the moon, but as soon as you have access, grind and go. You can do it. It may take a little time to learn, but it is doable.
Very well said, Tibble. Well, that case, GG's again on that wonderful 7th place finish, and we shall probably see you around someplace soon.
Oh, yeah. See you around. Thanks for the restream and the commentary. I know it's going to be a great show to watch back.
And the obligatory, since I mentioned it to both Solaris and Morpheus, thank you for being a massive supporter of the Pink Puff League from before it officially began. All y'all have been really good and just kind of keeping the push going to make something amazing for our newer runners. So thank you.
Oh, no problem. I remember being in the Pink Puff League type set myself, so I feel for them.
GG's.
Have a good night, Tibble.
Have a good night.
Now, meanwhile,
what's happening here? I'm sure you've been noticing.
What, you couldn't tell by the eddies in chat? We're doing eddy strats, y'all.
This is he had the full team up for quite a while. He had Eddie hidden, I think, just about for the entire fight until Eddie had to come out and save the day.
I know. Okay, so Eddie is the only character out of everybody that can defeat Z at a base level, which I believe is 5 for Edward. But it does take a lot of nerves of steel. basically what Eddie can do is hide, and hide is broken as heck. So what you'll see is Eddie's hiding. Kaibamus is going to use Big Bang, but since Eddie is hidden, don't ask where Eddie is hiding. Lore doesn't take any damage from it. Eventually, he will come back out. He's going to wait for it to probably reset it. No, we'll just come out right now.
I'm concerned about the timing.
Same.
Okay, but I think the black hole went out when Eddie was off screen, so he still has the Star Veil. So that's actually pretty heads up by Rex.
But yeah, he'll come back out. He'll use the Star Veil, and I just heard the
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, so using the Star Veil, he will cast a non-damaging ability to anger Z, and Z will be like, heck no, throw a nuke at Eddie, but since he's Star Veiled, then it doesn't matter because he does damage to himself. And as you can see, Eddie survives the seed and has defeated Kaibamus on his own because he is a good best boy egg. And is
last card standing.
I know. That's when it gets really awkward when you're fighting Zero Warden using Eddie strats. It's kind of weird. But Rex has finished in 11th place with a final time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 39 seconds, and we will see if the runner of the Best Boys will come into the booth for an interview.
I would love to talk with Rex the Bold with his early moon dive, his very kind of hybrid Eddie fight at the end. It did not get him, the first place finish on our stream, but he, very exciting play from Rex.
He has a smile on my face, but I have a totally biased opinion on that one. And it does look... There he is! Hi, Vice President of the Edward Fan Club. Apparently, Rex Fanner. GG's!
Thank you, Rex.
Thank you.
So, yeah, let's talk about that moon dive. Out of all the restream runners, you were the only one that just said, you know what? We're not grinding. We're not waiting. We are going into the moon, and you found some very pro Edward boss encounters up there. How did you feel seeing those?
Initially, I felt really good seeing those, and sort of like the pro moon dive, I might have got my seeds mixed up, and I was thinking of the current one where you just had to complete the objectives to win, not defeat Zeramis. So I might have forgot I had to fight Zeramis for the first little bit.
Oh no!
And it was when I finally realized it, I'm like, oh, my whole plan just spiraled down into a hole. I'm like, well, GG.
Yeah, that was... we really appreciated the bold play, diving that early. So when you get that darkness crystal, I guess maybe there was a little bit of flag set confusion. We've talked about that before. All these different flag sets between the community races and the ladder that we play, it might have gotten you there. But like you got that darkness, and you just knew you were going to start looking. Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah, I at least wanted to see what I was up against, because there were fights up there doable. Like the Dark Imps, like running into them, I knew I had the 1 hourglass, but I forgot to check for life potions. So that, I didn't check for Thor Rage because, well, Odin, there's always that fun. So I had plans, but I forgot to check my supplies before doing them. I got definitely a little, with an early darkness, I thought I would try to just sneak ahead that way, but a little bit of bad planning sort of cut me back on that.
But still, in the end, you definitely got to show us very non-traditional ways of defeating bosses, and particularly showing that even at low levels, you can take on a lot of these spots, which is something that newer players might not be as willing or inclined to do because they don't think it's possible. You've just proved them wrong. So, like, thank you for kind of showing us that it is possible and that you are really good at this, randomizer, Mr. Rex Banner. Mr. Hybrid Eddie Strats, tell us about that, because that was cool.
Well, I didn't really have a set healer. So I was saying they're trying to think of what to do, and then... So I'm like, well, I got Eddie, I can do Eddie strats. as I was setting up for Eddie, I actually looked at the health of the rest of my team. I noticed I had 2 Cure 3s. I'm like, they will actually live through a few big bangs without any cures at all. So I'm like, I bought enough Star Veils. I'm like, why don't I just sort of modify 1200 and Eddie strats? Hide Ed, keep him hidden until the rest of the team falls, and then he can come in, claim the glory, finish it off.
I mean,
Yeah, that was very well executed. Yeah, he was basically off stage the whole time, right?
Yeah, just get him off stage, get him away from any chance of a mishap and him dying, because he doesn't have the health pool of the others. So even a nerf Big Bang stands a chance of wiping him out. So I just wanted him off the stage. He can go sit in the back and wait for his cue to show up.
And at one point, he came out. He was still back there when the black hole went off. Was that intentional?
It was. I was watching Commander Leonhardt the other day, and I was noticing that he was sort of alternating. He'd wait for the black hole to come out, then he would pop out, do the thing, hide, pop back into the virus and black hole, and then restar Veil. And I noticed the timing actually worked out for that. So I will fully admit I stole that 100% from watching Commander Leonhardt.
And I am totally stealing that from you because I didn't know that. I was today years old when I learned you could do that. That was cool.
Yeah, I learned that watching Commander the other day. I'm just like, oh, that is neat. That saves on Star Veils, because they went into the fight with 20 Star Veils for Eddie strats. I'm like, how is this going to work? And after watching that, it saves a ton of Star Veils, because I think the least I've ever done it with is around about 26, 27-ish. So that's definitely a shout out to Commander for that strategy. I did not come up with that. That was his doing.
Well, you put it to really good use, and that was a really great fight to see, and just your whole play was just really exciting. I've been mentioning this to all the runners. This 4-person race took such divergent paths, given the simplicity of Go mode, like in terms of key items. Darkness, you're essentially in Go mode, and you all did different things, and you, of course, being the most aggressive with your early moon dive. But really great different choices being made by all 4 of you. So well played by you with your method.
Thank you. GG to the rest of the runners. They seem to have done rather well with the seed as well.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the seed or anything for your Rex?
The seed is like, I've been really enjoying actually the Pink Puff League flags. They've been great. So GG's to Oscar on that. She's done an amazing job. And I'd also like to thank you folks, to Oscar and Korgs for the commentary, LSE for the restream. I'm not sure who's on button pushing, but thank you very much. And to all the other racers, GG's. It was a fun time.
As I gave the other featured restreamers, Rex, you're another one that from the get-go was a really big supporter of the PPL. So thank you, Rex, for keeping the fire lit to get it to where it is today.
Thank you for putting this on. Like I said, I really been enjoying this, and I love the fact that we now have a way of getting some more folks into this. It's nice to see so many new faces starting up because of this.
Agreed. GG's, Rex.
Have a great night, Rex.
All right, thank you, folks. Have a good evening.
I will say really quickly, there is a quick question. Is it too late to join Pink Puffs? It is not too late to join Pink Puffs. You can head on into the Free Enterprise Discord. We tend to stick around in the newbies corner, and then the community clubs server channels themselves. You can officially sign up using the bot commands, or you could just race. We race Thursdays, 8 p.m. The flag set for this upcoming Thursday is already out and remastered. It is Pink Puffs versus Resources. It's slim pickings out there. So it is going to be a restreamed race this week, and there's some really heckin' cool people that are in the PPL. So come and join us.
And if you liked watching this one and you want to race these flags, there's going to be another community race Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Same flags, and you can get a chance to race that. So again, the Monday and Fridays are open to everyone. The Pink Puff League is specifically for new runners only. And your night race might be over, but your night of free enterprise continues. And Oscar, I'll let you tell where we're sending folks, because I think where we're sending them, they'll get a chance to see this Thursday's flags for the Pink Puff League.
Yep, we are going to our tonight's fourth place finisher, which is Possum Morpheus. He is going to be running the week 5 Pink Puff League flags, which are the resources one. He does a really good job of explaining them to people of all levels, and is, like I said, a really good supporter of PPL in general. So that's where we're heading. But again, massive shout outs to behind the scenes with Alicel, who rolled and this great seed and did some fantastic restream work. Esco, who was fantastic on tracking, especially with how divergent all these paths were. And follow them, give them love. Follow our featured runners, Possum Morpheus, Solaris, Rex Banner, and Tybalt. And absolutely follow my wonderful co-commentator, Microcords, who is a heckin' amazing good person and fantastic runner for Enterprise.
And of course, I echo all that praise right back on you, Oscar, especially for the Pink Puff League. As someone who is just utterly obsessed with Free Enterprise, playing it and running it, to me, the biggest benefit is I love watching the Thursday races. I don't only watch the restreams. I love pulling up all the runner streams and kind of seeing all these new faces. So many, many thanks for bringing in all these new runners out there, and give Oscar a follow for another great Free Enterprise streamer. Really enjoyed it tonight, Oscar.
Bah, it's all for the Pink Puffs. But on that note, we are getting over. Never mind. We're over. Bye.